I don't know about you, Angelique, but my favorite part about summer is the frozen treats. But I hate that my hands always get so cold. So today we're going to talk about how to make something fun that'll keep your hands warm and your treat cold. I can't wait.
I'm going to show you a quick couple of ways that you can make one of these Freezy Koozies. So if your grandkids are coming over and you're like, oh, I need to hurry up, I can show you just a quick way to finish it. But I'm also going to show you one with a cleaner seam. I have my materials cut out. So just so you know what you need to have your piece of cotton. So I have that here. And then I have a piece of flannel cut. It's the same in width, but I've made it a little bit longer, about 1/2 inch, and a piece of fusible interfacing that's the same size of this. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to actually iron on your fusible material to the flannel, and then you're ready to sew. So you would just line up your right sides together, as I'm kind of showing here. Sew your 1/4 inch. Once you have that and you fold it, you would then line up the bottom part, and you're going to get something that looks like this at the top once you've kind of completed that. I did a little top stitching once I had it done like that, just to keep it in place, and then that's when I did my quilting. So I'll have it all assembled, do any fancy quilting that I want to do. I did some just lines on one of them. I did some swirls on the other and some loops on the other one. All right, so once I've done that and I've completed my quilting, I can sew closed. So I would put it, again, right sides would be together. I know this isn't sewed, but right sides would be together. And I would sew my closures, sides and the bottom, all right, my 1/4 inch. Cut off my corners a little bit so I can turn it right side out. Or if I want to do like a really quick one, I would just sew it the way I want it to look. So I already have that top part is folded up here. I would just sew a little bit larger, maybe 1/2 inch down across the thing. And then I could just use my pinking shears to finish that up. And then I get an edge that looks like this, very, very fast, ready to go. But if I want a cleaner seam, then what I would do is I would actually fold my wrong sides together, and I would do about a 1/8 inch seam across here. Be sure to back stitch front and bottom, or top and bottom of everything that you're working on, because that's really going to secure those stitches and make it to when you're turning it inside out, it actually won't come apart on you. That I'm notorious for those things coming apart if I don't, do a couple of back stitches there. So I have that. Then I would turn it inside out. And once I turn it inside out, I'm now going to do another seam, which is going to be about a 1/4 inch, or maybe just a little bit larger of a 1/4 inch. And that's going to close this up so that when I'm done, and I flip it back right side out, I'm going to have a nice clean seam here. Going to add my 1/4 inch seam allowance at the bottom. Again, back stitching at the top and out the edges here. I'm going to cut my corners off here to make it easier. And then when I turn it out, it's going to look like this. And you just put your little Freezy pop in there and you're ready to enjoy.
Thanks, Angelique, for giving me time to eat my sweet treat today. I prefer to do a turnout method. So I have a couple of examples. This one I did quilted, and it was kind of a mess trying to turn it out because I didn't make the hole big enough, but it's still very, very fun. It gives you that quilted texture, makes it fun to play with. Or I have the very simple turnabout one. So we'll start with that. I have a couple of pieces of fabric here. You can change and have your inside be different than the outside, but for this one, we're just going to keep it simple and do it the same. So I have cut my pieces 4 by 6 inches, and that just measures the type of sweet treat that we have. So I'm going to layer these together, and we're going to have batting and our regular fabric, and then we're going to do right sides together for the next step. And we're going to sew a 1/4 inch along the short side. So let's take it on over to our sewing station. So we're going to sew a 1/4 inch here. we're also gonna back stitch just to make sure we're extra secure, and then we'll go again. With our 1/4 inch, and we'll go back and forward. Perfect. So now that we have our 1/4 inch, we can either press or we can finger press. Doesn't really matter, but you're just gonna turn out that piece so you have it like this. And we are going to press towards the skinny side. We're not gonna press towards the batting. So we'll just give that a light touch, make it easier for our next step. And we are going to put it right sides together. All right, and I'm gonna start in this corner here and go all the way around until I make it to about halfway up this side, and then we'll give it some space and we'll go around to the rest. So let's go from there. Just line up our edges here, and we are ready to roll. Make sure you backstitch on all your edges. And perfect. And then we'll go up this edge here. Make sure you take the time to line up your seams, make sure everything is good to go. And you'll want to backstitch over this middle portion just to make sure everything is secure there. And then we can cruise again. Okay, so now I am right about to where I want to start to make my edge here. So we are going to backstitch just a couple paces, and then come forward just a couple paces. And perfect. So now we'll go, we'll give it about 3 finger width of space to be able to turn this all the way around. So we'll start right about here. And the nice part is the point of that star makes a perfect spot to start in. And we'll start and go just a little bit, and then we'll need to backstitch to secure that. Make sure we don't have any tearing. And backstitch in your corner. And we'll turn it around. And on this edge, I like to have a little bit of a deeper seam, so we will do it closer, just a little bit above 1/4 inch. And now we can turn it about. So what I'm gonna do is just press it to make sure all of our seams lay flat, and they'll be good to go here. So now that we have this all nice and pressed flat, we're gonna turn it right sides out. So we'll open it up and go through this hole here, and we'll get our corners. And I like to use my nice stiletto just to get those corners all the way pressed out, because they like to hide in there. So we'll use our stiletto, and then we're gonna pull the side with the batting out. And if you're having trouble, you can always use hemostats to help you get it out, or a turner. So we are almost done. And once you get it all the way inside, it makes it real simple. Got that there. I'm gonna use my stiletto again just to push out this side. We've got one corner and the second one here. Perfect. Now you'll want to press this like so. Get both sides pretty well. You can close up the seam if you want to, but because it's going to be on the inside, it doesn't really matter. Then what we're going to do is just slide it inside like this. And in there, we'll use our stiletto. And then you have a perfect little koozie.
While Sabrina was finishing up, I turned mine right side out, and now we're ready to enjoy our new treats with our Freezy Koozies. Downloadable will be available on the events page of graceframe.com, so you'll have full instructions on how to do either of these two methods. I hope you enjoy making these for your kids and your grandkids.
Thanks for joining us this week on Tuesdays with Grace. Join us next week where we will show you a few different ways to press your seams, when to press different directions, and we'll show you an awesome project that will make pressing seams so much easier.